Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day. My name is HIDAYAT NURRAHMAT, and I'm going to present my final project. It's a little history about British Malaya and United Kingdom in modern period. Without further ado, let us begin. British Malaya, which refers to the Malay Peninsula under British rule from the late 18th century to the mid-20th century, had several significant contributions to the United Kingdom in the fields of education, social development, politics, and religion. One example of such contribution is the establishment and development of educational institutions. For education, British Malaya introduced a Western-style education system, which had a long-lasting impact on the region and the United Kingdom. The British established several prestigious schools and institutions of higher learning, which provided quality education for students. In social development, the British introduced modern infrastructure and social welfare, a system in British Malaya, which contributed to the development of social institutions and improvement of living conditions. They introduced concept of public health, sanitation, and urban planning, leading to the creation of new towns and modern urban settlements. With its contribution in politics, British Malaya played a crucial role in the political development of the region, which ultimately influenced the United Kingdom and political landscape. The British introduced a centralized administrative system, which included the establishment of a legislative council, a legal system, and various political institutions. And as for the religion, the British Malaya saw the spread and diversification of religious practices, including the introduction of Christianity. So, how does English change with British Malaya? Well, guys, British Malay influenced the English language in several ways, particularly in terms of vocabulary and pronunciation and also grammar. The interaction between the British colonialists and the local population resulted in the incorporation of words from Malay and other local languages into the English spoken in British Malaya. Thus, the English language in British Malaya acquired distinct features and characteristics. In terms of grammar, the British presence in British Malaya introduced certain grammatical structures and forms of expression. English language instruction in school and the influence of British administrators and educators led to the propagation of British English grammar rules and usage in the region. Consequently, British Malaya contributed to the spread and reinforcement of British English grammar convention. Furthermore, British Malaya also influenced the pronunciation of English. The exposure of the British administrators and educators and traders to the local languages and accent led to the adoption of certain pronunciation patterns from Malay and other languages spoken in the region. For example, one popular example of how British Malay changed English is the incorporation of Malay loanwords. Due to the close contact and interaction between the British and the locals, many Malay words were absorbed into the English spoken in the region. One such word is amok or amak, derived from the Malay word amok. In Malay, amok means an episode of violent rage or frenzy. The word entered the English language and is now used worldwide to describe a frenzied or uncontrolled outburst of violence or agitation. So, how is British society in British Malaya? Well, in British Malaya, the society was divided along racial lines, with distinct social hierarchies and power dynamics established by the British colonial administration, the British administrators and European expatriates occupied the top tier of society, holding position of authority and enjoying privilege and access to resources. They had control over the economy, government, and education system. Below the European expatriates were the local elites, who were mostly ethnic Malays and Chinese, comprising the upper class of British Malay society. They often held positions of influence in local governments, business professions, serving as intermediaries between the British administrators and the local population. Uh, the majority of the population consisted of Malays, Chinese, and Indians, who formed the labor force in plantation, mining, and other industries. They faced discrimination and were subject to the limited opportunities for social and economic mobility compared to the European and local elite classes. The racial divisions in British Malaya were reinforced through policies such as the British colonial ideology of divide and rule, which exploited differences between ethnic groups to maintain control. The British also implemented policies that favored European and local elite interests, often at expense of the majority population. Overall, British society in British Malaya was characterized by a clear racial and social hierarchy, with British colonial administrators and expatriates holding the highest position of power and privilege, while the local majority faced disadvantage and limited opportunities for advancement. Okay, I think that's the end of the topic. Thank you for watching. I hope it's useful. See you when I see you. Back to the reality.